Hi everybody! 2015 is almost upon us, so I had to prepare my new art journal for the next year. So this year I had a normal notebook pad, college pad, I don't know what they are called, but it was a real book with like a spine and binding and whatnot. And towards the end of the year I did have trouble to paint on both sides. So for 2015, I chose two of those mixed media pads, and they have 30 pages per pad. And since there's more than 30 weeks in a year, I had to go with two of them. So I wanted to decorate the cover, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. I started with measuring the size of the cover on this cardboard. I took it from some other older pad that I didn't need to have a back for anymore. So I just traced around the pad and drew that rectangle before I cut it out, and I did that twice. So I'm going to speed up that part just to save us some time here. So I already glued down the first one, as you saw just a minute ago, and the second one here I'm also gluing down. I need to have some more stable, less flimsy cover page to work with. That's why I did cut the cardboard as like an enforcement or a support for the cover. I'm just adjusting my measurements here and there and cutting a bit of cardboard away because I do have those rings that hold the book together, and I don't want the cardboard to be too close to it, or to them I should say, because rings are plural. I'm applying some of my craft glue, nothing fancy, just a normal craft glue, anything you can find. And then I'm gluing down that cardboard on the back of my cover sheet of my second mixed media block pad. And then I'm just going to let it sit on my desk for a while to help the glue dry and everything stay in place. And while I clean off my desk a bit, I'm also taking acrylic paper, and that's DIN A3, taking two sheets, one for each of the pads, just to make a cover page that I can paint on or glue something on, and that solidly covers that very dark blue cover that the mixed media pads came with. So I'm creating, well, kind of like a bag or something I'm not gonna glue it down on the front page with this particular one. I'm going to do that with the other one. With the first one here, I'm just scoring the lines and folding the remains of the acrylic paper over to the back side, and then I'm attaching it with some masking tape. And usually you take masking tape only for temporary works, but I'm going to cover the back side of the cover up with some colored cardboard. So it was okay that I used the masking tape since you couldn't see it, and I had another layer on top later on that would definitely hold everything down and in place while I use the journals next year. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's another kind of paper, it's another dimension that I'm going to paint stuff on, so really curious how they will work. So I did cut into the paper just to, well, be able to notch the edges, and as you can see on the lower hand side of the screen, to not have any overlap and have anything showing that I don't want to have on the front of my soon-to-be art journal. I do the same thing with the other side before I tape down everything. And I really like preparing my art journal just a couple of days before the new year starts. So it's this moment then when you can't wait to work with something. And that feeling of I can't wait happens when I prepare the books or the notepads where I'm going to journal in next year. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. So here is sad masking tape situation. I'm just gluing it down, nothing fancy. And this acrylic paper is quite sturdy, so let me see, can I see it on the screen? No, I can't, but I think it is about, well, 250 grams per square meter. I can check if I can see it when I take the other paper for the other pad. But first, here is the colored cardboard that I was talking about, and I'm just going to attach it to the back of my journal here, because I want the inside to look pretty as well, not only the cover. I did make a letter journal a couple of months ago, and there was a video on my channel as well, which showed pretty much the same technique to cover a front page of a notepad block and make it sturdy enough to decorate it with different things. So I liked the technique the first time, and yeah, that's why I used it this time around as well. So I'm just gluing that cardstock down, and I used again just my normal craft glue. It's nothing fancy, and I'm just going to let it sit on my desk for a bit and let everything dry before I start decorating my pad number 1, I should say, because I have 2. Captain Obvious. Now let me see if I can see on the acrylic paper block how heavy that paper is. and then I'm going to speed it up because it's just the same thing. Of course I can't see it. Okay, so now I gotta speed up the video until everything is done with pad number 2. So you just saw for pad number 2, I took a bright apple green background, and I'm also going to decorate the covers differently. So one of them, the one that I'm working on right now, will be more on the drawing side, because I do have a lot of journal pages that are very simple, just a bit of watercolor or acrylic painting or drawings on them, and they only have one layer. So I'm applying watercolor here, and I'm sorry that it's half out of frame, but I'm only applying a cool red, and then a sienna, a burnt sienna, and a bit of a light ochre, and I'm just mixing those colors together very roughly, going for very loose shapes, I should say. And then I'm just taking the remains of my mixing palette here, and I'm applying that color together with one of these 3 main tones that I just said. And I'm again just creating a very loose scene here that I'm going to dry off with my blow dryer. And then I'm going to paint my scenery on it. So this is pretty much just the background. So now that the color is dry enough, I'm going in with the second layer, and I'm just going with that big brush. I'm not changing anything up, because I'm too lazy usually in my journals to use millions of different kinds of brushes. So on the cover, I want to do the same. With the same cool dark red, I'm going in and painting some flower stalks with some very abstract blossoms here and there. And I'm just staying very modern, very abstract, because that is what I like to try in my art journal pages, to stay quite loose and leave a lot of things to the viewer's imagination. So that's what I want to have on my cover as well. Also, I'm applying some Van Dyke brown. That's a very cool, very dark brown, and I am unfortunately out of frame for the most part. I'm so sorry about that. I'm just outlining bits and parts and pieces of the brown areas, like here. A bit of shadow, and then outlining, detailing a couple of things. And the scene that I'm going to create here is somebody's looking out of the window in a big city. So these are skyscrapers, and you have a part of a windowsill or a table that is just in front of the window. Now I had to change to a very thin, very small brush, by the way, to make the windows in the house on the other side of the street and giving it a bit of dark outlines. Anyways, so this is a very modern scene from something that I think could be painted from anybody that is living in a skyscraper or a high-rise building in a city and has, I don't know, maybe a kitchen table near the window and has some flowers in a vase on it. So this is pretty much the painting here. And I'm just going in with the same dark brown into the flower buds, but I'm not gonna take any new brown onto my brush. I'm just, whatever is in there, whatever is remaining in the bristles, I'm just using it as kind of like a shadow thing or just a contrast thing going on with the flowers. So now that I'm done, I'm going to let it sit. And taking care of the other one. So another thing that I do frequently in my journals is creating dimension with things that, well, definitely go 3D. So I'm using a lot of other cardboard pages and put them on dimensionals, or I use a lot of ribbons and, well, flowers, metal, like old necklaces and whatnot. So on this particular cover here, I want to go for the 3D things that I do in my journal and have that as a topic. So, sorry. Uy, hoppala. So I'm starting off with covering the front page in the same cool red that I applied on the first one. Just giving it a solid layer, quite watery, and then I'm taking a paper towel and I'm dabbing away parts of the color to, well, get a pattern that looks interesting. And then I'm going to dry it off with my blow dryer, and I'm getting rid of the colors, putting them away to dry, and everything that I don't need anymore on my desk before I dry off the page. So I want there to be some similarities to state that both of the journals belong together in 1 year. But I also want them to look very different because I'm trying out very new things in my art journal first before I try them on canvas or in any larger projects. So I want to state on the covers that this is not only a journal, but this is where I try out new things. So they have to look crazy and weird and maybe not 100% perfect to, well, tell the story of what I actually do with my art journals. So now that both of the backgrounds are pretty much dry, or I should say one cover, one background, it's time to go in with the ribbon and the twine and whatnot. So with the first journal here, that is more on the drawing side, I only want to have that packaging twine because it's not too bright with the color. The main focal point are still the flowers, but it adds something to the painting or the page, and I use it to cover up, as well as I might, the blue part that is still on top of those rings. I don't think that the blue really stands out, but I want to cover it up anyway. Just to, well, have warmer colors only on the cover. I know that the blue will still look through, and that's fine, but I'm just reducing the amount of color that, well, does not belong there, at least in my humble opinion. So I'm just checking how often I want to go around the page with the twine and how tight I want those parts to be together and all of that. And then I'm cutting my twine and I'm just tying knots and, well, just giving it a nice look, I should say. So I'm starting off with the top, which is fairly simple. There's no pattern I want to create there, so I'm just wrapping the ends of the twine around and then tying a knot, and that's that. Nothing fancy there. Just cutting off the tail, and then I'm taking care of the other end, which is, well, more important since well, I actually want to create something there, something that, well, helps along the focal point, which are the flowers. Once I do have the twine finished, attached, and holding on the page, I'm taking 2 of the letters that are from these punch-out sheets. They're just cardboard. And you can see I'm missing a letter there. I actually wanted to write art, but I didn't have any R's anymore, so I'm going to write them down later on with another pen, and I haven't decided yet what kind of a pen I'm going to use. So I'm just gluing those 2 letters down for now. And then I'm going to, again, let it dry off, let it sit on my desk while I take care of the second journal. So the second one, just as a reminder, had the apple green cardstock on the inside, and I'm using this square. It's a metal frame underneath, and it has this wooden colored pieces wrapped around, and I had that in my studio forever, at least 10 years. And I'm finally using one of them. And first, I should say I had like 5 of them, and I think that's the second one I'm using up. But back to the journal. I'm attaching just a bright green ribbon to cover the last part of the white acrylic paper underneath and the masking tape on the inside. So I'm just using some craft glue to attach the ribbon and hold it in place. It's strong enough, and I don't mind having the glue kind of look through. You can see that there is liquid glue underneath, but I don't mind having a tiny shadow or something underneath. So while the glue dries, and again, I'm so impatient, I'm just putting that plexiglass sheet as a well, support or a cover, so that any glue that might seep out from the ribbon doesn't go onto the first page. But still I could already go on working on the next step. That's why I'm having that glass there. And I'm gluing down the middle part of the front page, on the front page of that green ribbon. And letting it dry completely before I go on with the page. And I'm using this, well, this is more of the kind of glue that you use when you build something in your house. So it's very sturdy. You can, well, glue tiles to the wall or whatnot with this kind of a glue. And it's very, very strong. And you can see it's not really liquid. So it will stay on this green rectangle or square, and it won't seep out. That's why I chose this kind of a glue. And I'm just adding that yellow flower to the page or to the cover, and I wanted it to sit on there first, but it was just too high. When I would paint in my journal, it would be too high. That's why I decided in the end to put it on the right hand side of the green square and have some flat red leaves sit on top of the square. Instead they're flat, so and there's also again this red color that is pale in the background and strong in the foreground, just like with the other book or the notepad that I made. And I think this is, although those covers are so different, there's more similarities on the second glance, and that's what I wanted to state with my journal covers here, though the pages look very different that I'm producing, and though this is my test area for new techniques or compositions of things, there is a pattern underneath, I should say. Because, well, it's the same person that is doing all of the art journal pages. So in every page there's me. So there's the common denominator. And that's what I wanted to state with the colors of those two covers. Though they look so very, very different, they do have more similarities than you might think. I'm just going to let this sit and dry, and while I do that and take away the fingers from those leaves, I'm placing the same black A and T that I also had on the other pad. I'm placing them on this one as well. And the final thing that I'm going to do is deciding with what kind of a medium I'm going to put down the R on both books. And I'm going for loud, vibrant, and girly with this particular book, and more reserved, cool, and sophisticated with the other one that I just put on the table. Which means I'm going for glitter gel on the left one and glitter pen to write the year. And I'm going with ink on the right hand paper. Also, just something that I decided to do, and that is maybe only obvious now that both books are next to each other. One of them is portrait and the other one is landscape, because I want to have the portrait pages only on the right hand book and the landscape pages on the left book, which forces me to go both ways, because I only do have 30 pages in one book, so I need to, well, maybe challenge myself for some weeks next year to go with a layout that I would not have chosen instinctively. That is a very difficult word to say. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching along. I'm going to go now, and tomorrow is the last day of the year and also the last day of this art journal week. And I'm going to have a wrap up for the year 2014 tomorrow for you. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a very good day. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe this video. And again, thanks very much. And I'm going to see you tomorrow with the last 2014 art journal video. Goodbye.